I walked into his office soaking wet from the rain, my blouse clinging to me in all the wrong places. Or maybe the right ones. He looked up from behind his desk, his eyes scanning every inch of me like I wasn't just his new secretary but his next obsession. I wasn't prepared for the heat in his gaze, or the way my body responded. This wasn't just a job, this was the beginning of something dangerous, something forbidden, something that would leave us both breathless. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. My name is Emily Parker, and I had no idea the moment I stepped into Scott Enterprises, my life would never be the same. I was supposed to be there for structure, for a paycheck. After all, William Scott, CEO, billionaire, America's most unattainable bachelor, was just a man. Or so I thought. Our first conversation was short, but charged. "You're Emily," he said, his voice low, steady. "Yes, Mr. Scott," I said, breath catching as his eyes locked with mine. "Call me William," he added, a hint of something darker under his cool smile. I turned away, pretending to focus on the tablet in my hand. But I could feel him watching me. That kind of attention wasn't normal. It was personal. The next few days blurred together in a storm of tension I wasn't ready for. He asked questions he didn't need to. He watched me when I typed. He brushed by me, close enough to send a shock through my body. Every moment felt loaded, like we were circling something dangerous. And then came the night that changed everything. It was late. Everyone had gone home, but I was still at my desk. A storm raged outside. Thunder rolled. I didn't hear him come out of his office until his voice drifted from behind me. "Still working, Emily?" I turned, startled. He leaned against the doorframe, sleeves rolled, collar loosened. It was the first time I saw him not perfectly polished, and it did something to me. "I like to finish what I start," I said, my tone unintentionally flirtatious. His eyes dropped to my mouth. "So do I." The room went still. The only sound was the rain against the windows. Slowly, he walked toward me. "Why do you try to hide it?" he asked. "Hide what?" "That you want me just as much as I want you." I should have said something professional, logical, safe. But all I managed was a whisper. "Because you're my boss." He came closer, close enough that I could feel his breath. "Then let me quit," he said, voice rough with restraint. "Let me give up every title, every rule, just to touch you." My heart slammed in my chest. "Why me?" I asked. His fingers brushed a lock of hair behind my ear. "Because you don't need me. And that makes me want you more than I've ever wanted anything." His lips hovered over mine, giving me a choice. I closed the gap. The kiss was heat and tension, and the weeks of unsaid things exploding all at once. His hands gripped my waist, pulling me closer. My hands slid into his hair, anchoring me as we crashed against his desk. His lips traveled down my neck, slow, reverent, like he'd been dreaming of it for weeks. But then he pulled back. "Not here," he said, voice strained. "Not like this." He led me to the elevator. The ride to the penthouse was silent, but filled with everything our bodies were saying without words. When the doors opened, I stepped into a space that smelled like him. Leather, cedar, heat. He backed me into the wall with a groan, his lips crashing against mine. This time, there were no pauses. No second thoughts. We made it to the bedroom in a blur of heat and tangled clothes. His body was all power, all control. But his touch? It was gentle, worshipful, as if he'd never done this before. As if this moment was different. And for me, it was. When we finally lay there, breathless, I traced the scar above his hip, the one I hadn't noticed until now. "Where did this come from?" I asked. He hesitated. "Boarding school," he said. Let's just say, I had to fight for respect. I saw something behind his eyes, pain, vulnerability. That night wasn't just sex. It was a beginning. Days turned into weeks. We kept our relationship quiet. Our stolen glances during meetings. The way his hand would brush mine in elevators. The late nights when he'd text me to come over and just talk. But secrets don't stay secrets forever. It started with whispers. Then side eyes in the office. One day, I walked into the boardroom and felt the shift. Someone new. That night, William showed up at my apartment, angry and afraid. They're threatening to leak photos, he said. The board thinks I've compromised the company. I stood there, torn. Then maybe we should stop. He stared at me. Do you want to stop? No, I whispered. But maybe we should. He came to me, pulled me close. Emily, I've lived a life of deals, acquisitions, and control. But the second I met you, all of that felt empty. I've fallen for you. I'm in love with you. And I'd give it all up just to keep you safe. My heart shattered. But I couldn't let him destroy everything he built because of me. The next morning, I left a letter on his desk. It said, I love you enough to walk away. Not because I don't want you, but because I do. I packed my things and took a new job across the city. I missed him every day. His voice, his touch, his fire. But I told myself I'd done the right thing. Until 2 months later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find him, soaked in rain, just like the first day we met. You left, he said, and I let you, but not anymore. William. I stepped down. I'm no longer CEO. The company's stable. I made sure of it. My breath caught. Why? Because I chose you. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small velvet box. Opened it. I want to build a life with you. Not because I need to, because I want to. Marry me, Emily. Tears spilled down my cheeks as I threw my arms around him. Yes. That night, we made love again, but this time, it wasn't stolen or secret. It was safe. Raw. Real. And when I lay in his arms, I realized something. He wasn't just the rich boss. He was the man who taught me how to love without fear. The man who gave up everything just to hold me in his arms. And I was the woman who walked into his office with rain in her hair and left with his heart.